What's cracking, folks? Stogies here. Today I got a pretty crazy story, man. Like, not crazy, like I didn't do any wild shit like I normally do, but like, I was fucked. Like, I was mythically fucked up for the majority of this story. I'm pretty sure I'll have some Splitgate gameplay running in the background, but I don't know anything for sure. Most likely, you'll be seeing Splitgate right now. You'll know. But yeah, let's get right into it, I guess. So, this is the story about the time I ate a quarter ounce of mushrooms. And a quarter is a good amount. It's like double what you normally take. And with mushrooms, double what you normally take can mean a hell of a fucking lot. Because with an eighth, that's usually what people take. At least everybody I know. They like to take an eighth. I like to take an eighth. And that will get you there. A quarter will get you to Mars. Alright, well, it's not that bad. But, like, you're fucked. Like, you're not doing much on a quarter of fucking mushrooms. So yeah, this all takes place, I believe I was 18. Yeah, because I got out of the military, I moved out of my girlfriend's house. So yeah, I was 18 when this shit happened. I was taking mushrooms, like, back to back for like a week. I was just eating mushrooms on the daily. There was a girl in town who had them, and they were going for pretty goddamn cheap. So I went and I picked up, I think it was 3/8, so whatever the fuck that is. Picked up 3/8 for $60. So I was only really looking to take an eighth when this happened. But we end up going over this girl's house that we've been hanging out at before. I'm with this other girl, she's driving me around. And we get there, and there was supposed to be three of us taking them, an eighth each. But one of the girls there just wasn't having it. She didn't want to take the fucking mushrooms. So I was like, alright, I'll just take 2/8. Now that I think about it, I think the girl did take mushrooms, but it was in capsules. Like, I think she had like 1.5 grams of capsules left. And she was like, I'll just take that and it'll be fine. So we get to this girl's house, and I am drunk, as always. I was always drunk for like fucking 3 years straight. But, yeah, pretty much 3 years straight. Yeah, I had like a half gallon on me and a 6-pack, and I was just hogging it all. It was mostly me. I know there was like a fifth of Jim Beam apple there too. But yeah, so we're about to take the mushrooms, and this girl's room is like ideal for this shit. Like, it is wall to wall to wall to ceiling. Everything is tapestries and a bunch of trippy looking shit. So I started taking the mushrooms, and I was crunching them up into these little balls like pills, and I take those, and I usually just wash it down with a shot or something. I know that night I was washing it down with this disgusting, absolutely vile, like $12 half gallons of white rum. These shits were horrible, but I was buying these bottles every fucking day back then. So I'm taking them. My original plan, I was just gonna take an eighth, wait for that eighth to start wearing off on me, and just slowly take more throughout the rest of the night. In reality, that is not what happened. I ended up waiting like 2 minutes after I took the first eighth and just said send it, and took the fucking other one. And I was just sitting there chilling, talking to the two girls, and then like I remember like 5 of our friends pulled up. Yeah, like 5 kids pulled up. I was not too close to any of them. One of them I was okay with, but I didn't really know the other ones too well. I've just chilled with them the past couple of nights there. And then around like 30 minutes later, it started to kick in. And when it kicked in, it fucking kicked in. I was just chilling there, and at the start of mushrooms sometimes, right when I'm coming up, I get anxious for a little while. It just happens. I get anxious, alright? I remember I get a little more pacey than normal. I pace a fucking lot. I'm always pacing around. That's just how I be. But I started pacing a little bit more than normal. I was talking a little less for a few. And then I started thinking, I was like, whoa, these mushrooms gonna kill me? I was like, if I like poison myself. And I just started feeling fucked. It went on for only like 3 minutes. It was like 3 minutes of this. But I remember going to the bathroom, I pulled out my phone, I texted my little brother. I was like, I love you. And then I just didn't message him again. I was like, I'm gonna fucking die. I don't know why. I was convinced I was gonna die from mushrooms that night. I have no clue why, but I was fucking convinced at the beginning. So I was getting a little anxious, and I wasn't liking it. So I thought, what better way to calm my nerves than drink the last half of this fifth of Jim Beam apple? And by drink it, I did not mean sit there and sip on it, take a couple shots. No, that is not what I had in mind. I wanted to get up in front of everyone and chug the rest of that bottle in one big old swig. So I went back in the room and I was like, yo, anyone care if I slam this fucking bottle? And nobody cared. Everyone was fucking hyped for it. They all wanted to see it. So I sat there, took a couple breathers, and then I tilted my head back and fucking went on slamming that bottle. And I did. I chugged that bitch until it was empty. And I was absolutely disgusted. I am not a Jim Beam guy, man. Like I was fucking horrified. I instantly regretted like that entire thing. I was no clue why I wanted to do that. But regardless, I'm pretty good at doing chugs. I'm known to fucking chug at parties and shit. So I wasn't too concerned about this. But I think it was the mushrooms or something. And it instantly went to my stomach. Like, that was not feeling good. I had about a total of half a second after I finished that chug before I walked right to the bathroom. And it all came back up. And I was pretty concerned because I was like, shit, are all my mushrooms going to go in the toilet too? I didn't see nothing mushroom-like in it. It was just clear. It literally felt like it was only the Jim Beam that just came back up. So I wasted the Jim Beam, but I can attest that I still was absolutely fucked from the mushrooms, so I don't think I really threw any of them up. But the second I picked my head up from that toilet, it was like blast off. That fucking puke sent me into hyperdrive. I remember just looking up and being fucking annihilated. She had like those tiles on her bathroom floor and they had the little designs in them. And like the squares kept rotating. It was like square, diamond, square, diamond. And just everything was wavy as shit. Everything was moving and grooving. I was fucked up that time. Like I was really fucked. Like it was the same type of visuals you'd see if you took an eighth, but just so much stronger. I can't fully explain it. I can't explain it well. But like the movement was there. I just got up. I looked in her mirror. I like washed out my mouth with some water and shit. It's pretty fucking gross. But I just remember looking in that mirror for like 3 minutes straight and just laughing at myself, laughing at myself, laughing at myself. So after that, I just walked back in the room. Everyone's looking at me because they know I just puked. They know I'm probably fucked up at this point. And they're just like staring at me, trying to catch a read. And they knew I was fucked. But I just remember walking in there, looking around. It's like the people weren't even there. All I saw was those fucking tapestries and they were unreal. And I just went and I leaned up against like a radiator. And I was just staring at them for who knows how long. I was blocking out everything else around me, just staring at the tapestries. And there was a couple of them that were like over some windows, and the windows were open, so the wind was blowing them a little bit, and it just added to it. It was looking gnarly. The other girl I was with, she took an eighth too, so me and her were just giggling like motherfuckers, laughing and like trying to talk to each other. She was talking pretty coherent, but at that point it was set in enough for me that I was not. Like normally if you take an eighth, you'll be pretty coherent. At least I am. I'm pretty good with an eighth still. But at that point, like thinking was not an option. There was no thinking. It's like there was a wall in my head. There was no getting past that wall until this trip was over. So I was just kind of like giggling, laughing, looking at shit, making noises here and there. You know, that was about it for me. No one there was getting a coherent conversation out of me. Like, it just was not happening. So like an hour and a half goes by. I am still tripping nuts. And I was super slumped feeling. Like, I just needed to lay down. I couldn't move. I couldn't stand. That was not it. It was nothing like the first time where I was super, like, movie and anxious, wanted to move around. We far surpassed that point. I was fucked. I was very like couch locked at that point. So I remember trying to lay up against, like, get on the girl's bed, but the bed was really fucking high, like abnormally high. Like it was like halfway between my kneecap and my ass cheeks. So I couldn't physically push my body onto the bed. I was just too fucked. I couldn't do it. So I remember just like standing up and like where my ass is, just that was the only thing that was bent. I just bent that and like put my shoulders and my back on the bed and just kind of tried to lay there. Eventually, some of the nice folks there decided to pick up my legs and help me lay onto that bed, so that was pretty baller of them. But I just laid there, staring at the ceiling tapestries, listening to whatever fucking music they had on at the time, and I was in my own world. And I remember at one point, like she had the LED like light strips all around the room, and at one point she put it on like that party mode where it's just changing colors like a fucking just strobing and shit. Cause she thought that would be pretty fucking cool. This is the girl's house where I'm talking about. The girl that only took like a gram and a half, not the girl that took like an eighth. But she turned the lights on that mode, and like 2 seconds into it, I looked at her. I'm like, turn that the fuck off. And like I said it in the most asshole-ish way, but like I don't know. I just couldn't think right. I wasn't trying to be a dick. It's just like something about those lights was not working with the trip. Like she thought it would be cool. It was the exact opposite. It like made my brain chase the lights. I don't even fucking know. Like it some reason the lights changing made me think. And thinking was something I could not do at that point in time. But after that, it was just chilling, honestly. It was pretty crazy visuals for shrooms, but I just laid on that bed for literally like 2 hours. I think at one point I like took a bong snap, but for the most part I just laid there. I kind of got the ability to talk a little bit towards the end of that, so I started talking to folks and shit. And that's around the time where I decided to just get up. I finally got up off the bed, was walking around the room, I started drinking and shit again, but like, don't be fooled. I was still annihilated. I just came down like one level, and that one level made me talk slightly coherent. And yeah, I'm talking with one of the other guys there. I'm talking about possibly getting some Xanax or ketamine or something else fun. Maybe just getting more mushrooms. We had no money at the time, so we were plotting, thinking about shit to do to get some money real quick, or to get some drugs real quick. One of the two. But we're just talking about that. And the girl I was fucking with, the girl that took the eighth, she's still laying on the bed. And I hear her. She just goes, Damon. Like, she says my name all slow and shit. And in my mind, the only response to that would be to say her name all slow and shit like that. And her name was Alexis. But she didn't like to be called Lexi. And in my mushroom brain at the time, there was no way in hell I was going Alexis. Like, even now, it just kind of sounds fucking stupid. So I just wasn't having it. I didn't want to say that. It just my brain wouldn't let me. The wall was there. And I ended up just going, I don't remember your name. And instantly, everyone except her starts fucking laughing. But you look at her, and she is instantly butthurt. Like, she was not happy about that. But she was on mushrooms too, so she was all emotional and shit. She just started crying and bawling her eyes out. And I kind of felt bad. But I was tripping sack. And the only thing I could do was just hysterically laugh as I stared at her. Like, I'm crouched over. I'm like slapping my fucking knees, everything. I find it so fucking funny at that point for some reason. I couldn't do anything but laugh at it. And I'm looking at all the other guys, and they're fucking laughing even harder because of my reaction to it, which is just making me fucking laugh harder. And she was not happy with me, I'm not gonna lie. She did not talk to me for like a solid hour after that. But eventually, she got up, I hugged her, I said I'm sorry, da 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 da. It was all good. But after that, the sun was about to come up soon, so we decided it was time to fucking slump. At least a couple of us. Few people went home, but me and the girl I was fucking with was staying there, and the girl whose house it was obviously staying there, and this other dude was staying there. And oh boy, this fucking dude. Actually, now that I think about it, there was a couple other people there that did stay. They just ended up sleeping in the living room. But I should mention first, this girl has like a big ass bed. It was like a king. So me and the girl I was fucking with were just laying down on the bed together, all cuddled up and shit. And then the other girl just like takes off her shirt. Like, didn't have bra on, just had her fucking tits hanging out and shit. And I was like, alright, I guess. And she hops in the bed next to the girl that I was fucking with. And then, it's like pitch black, the lights aren't on shit anymore. I'm like kind of about to slump, but I'm just laying there talking to the girl. And this other dude comes in the room that was there. and I really didn't think much of it. I was still talking to the girl. And, next thing I know, the guy hops in the bed, and I don't know if, like, he didn't hear us because we were talking pretty quietly. I don't know if he thought we were slumped or what, but it happened fast. Like, out of nowhere, this guy is clearly fucking the other girl. It's like, I'm laying there, and I'm looking at the girl, I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, you see this shit? You hear this shit? And it was fucked up. It was fucking disturbing. Like, it... the dude was, like, moaning. Like, that's all I could hear, was a moaning dude. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And within, like, 30 seconds, the other girl, like, positions herself to put her head in the girl I was laying with's ass and just starts straight up getting doggy railed. I'm like, alright, that's it for me. I get the fuck up and just lay on the hardwood floor in the living room. I was not having that. So I ended up just slumping there in the living room. The other girl slumped next to me on the living room floor. And that was really about it. I woke up in the morning. Me and that girl drove back to my house. She ended up going to her house, and I went to work. Because, yeah, I was fucking working that morning. It was like 4 hours later. I was still like half tripping. Nothing really interesting happened. It's just, don't do roofing when you're tripping. Just recommendation, for all you folks. That's pretty much it, though. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, you already know what to do. And hope to see you in the next video. Peace.